This is Career Quest, and today I'm super excited because I've got Nick Gonzalez in here with us to talk to us a little bit about nutrition and his role as Assistant Director of Dining over at Givens Highland Farms. Nick, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So this field of nutrition, let's dig into that a little bit today. I kind of want to know a little bit about how you guys handle dietary restrictions and things like that when meal planning and creating a menu.
Yeah. I actually have it easy, I'll be honest, because typically when you go to a hospital or any kind of healthcare setting, you see these things called therapeutic diets. That's where you talk about, your diabetic, your diabetes, or your heart disease. And then you have these things called mechanically altered diets, and those are for people who can't necessarily chew well or swallow well.
Oh, gotcha.
So those are maybe ground up or pureed. So those are kind of the two types of changes you make. At Givens Highland Farms, we don't have those therapeutic diets, so like your diabetic diet. We provide more of an overall kind of healthful menu that is appropriate for each diet. And the big reason why is because at our healthcare center, retirement community setting, is something called residents' rights, and it allows them to kind of have that control. The residents have that control over their diet, their aspects of their life that they're usually in control of, like what they get to eat. So it's helpful. It helps us provide more options without kind of tailoring to specific diets.
Gotcha.
But with that being said, residents will have their restrictions and their dietary restrictions, and we kind of talk to each resident on a case-by-case basis and make sure that we tailor our menu specifically to them the best we can, and get their special requests if needed. And it's very important to make sure that they know that they have that option.
That's really an intimate relationship. So do you guys sit down and have a consultation with each member and really learn about their diet?
Yeah, the residents who come in are gonna be there for X amount of time. It could be a week, could be 2 months. So if they're gonna be there, I try to make sure that I learn as much about them and their dietary habits as possible, so I can best tailor their menu. And some residents are just okay with what we have, and they're like, just send it to me. It's okay. You guys make great food. I'm gonna like it. And other residents we do see on a daily basis to make sure we get their meal orders for the day.
And where do you source some of your food, and how do you go about purchasing food?
Yeah. Well, in the Western North Carolina area, fortunately, there's a lot of local farmers, and we definitely do purchase from a lot of local areas. One specific company being J&J, and they make great produce for us. Otherwise, we get most of our products from U.S. Foods, and it really helps. They have a big selection, and it helps us, kind of vary our meals for the residents, so it doesn't get boring.
Okay. I'm sure food waste is a concern to any kitchen, really. What are some strategies that you guys employ to handle things like food waste?
Yeah. Make soup. Soup goes a long way. That's the one thing that the residents enjoy, I think, more than anything in our venue is our homemade soup. So shout out to our culinary team. And of course, that's one way to use leftovers. We definitely donate a lot to the community. So Givens as a whole is, outreach is very important, helping our community here in Asheville. But it's just a matter of being diligent and tracking best you can what you're using, how much you have left, and figuring out ways to reutilize what didn't get used up the first time. And from a culinary perspective, that's also a skill that you learn from this type of business, food service environment, as opposed to maybe like a restaurant. But same deal, reutilizing ingredients too.
At your guys' facility, do you guys deliver to the rooms, or do the residents come to a specific place to eat and dine?
Yeah, so you can think of the food service department operating or servicing two different pools of residents. One being in the healthcare center, which is a little more like your traditional hospital, but they also have a little dining room, or we rather. And residents come there, and it's just like a restaurant style for them, and we get to service them and have that personal interaction with them, and it's great. And in the sort of more fine dining, independent living side of the operation, also have a very large dining room that residents come to and they sit and enjoy. It's one of the top restaurants in Black Mountain, our director likes to say. But yes, we do have some meal deliveries to residents who aren't able to come to the dining room. And that's important because one thing to realize is that we're their main source of food because they live there. So it's very important that we do provide any means necessary for them to come and enjoy our food.
Okay. I know that an elderly person wants visitors, so, and I've had that experience of going and visiting my grandmother when she was living in a facility, and so how do you guys do anything to around events or parties or anything that the residents want to have in the culinary aspect of things?
Yeah, I think I can't talk about this without shouting out our executive chef because really it's the effort put in to make sure that even if there aren't events like 4th of July, we have every Tuesday we have a theme night, for example. So it might not, it's just a regular Tuesday, but for the residents, it's a little event, so it just provides more of that entertainment value and factor and different theme meals, which of course is great for variety. So yeah, we definitely do special events for every holiday, but again, we sprinkle some in. We do any requests like catering too. So we're an all-in-one shop. It's not just putting out dinner and going home. We service the residents in a lot of different ways, and it's again just going back to the effort that goes into it. I think that's another aspect that quality you need to have working in one of these communities is you really got to care about the people you're servicing, not just the food that you're putting out.
Well, that brings up something I wanted to ask a little bit about is safety. With allergies and all those kind of things that we know about, but not only for the people that you're serving, but also just kitchen safety. And how do you guys maintain those kind of standards?
Yeah, great question. There are a few different types of inspections that we get. It's not just a health inspection. As a skilled nursing facility, we also get surveyed by another state survey that determines whether or not we can still operate. Okay. So there are definitely a lot of different surveyors that come by. So we have a lot of regulations to meet, and just naturally that requires us to meet them. But when you're thinking about our elderly population and food safety, immediately you need to think about your foodborne illnesses because they have a weakened immune system just naturally. And so it's extremely important that you're following all your serve-safe principles that you learn, and food safety, cross-contamination, and really making that conscious effort to keep yourself, your area, and what you're doing sanitary best you can. And beyond that, kitchens are dangerous, very busy. And so if you learn one thing from your first time in a restaurant, is learn your call outs. So saying behind or with a knife, communication is very important in that small, fast environment in the kitchen. And so that's what I'd encourage.
Yeah, man, it sounds like that you guys do run a really great ship. You care about not only your staff but also the people you're serving, and just a great place it sounds like to work.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed until I found it on Indeed, and and then your eyes open up to what a big impact the company is doing, just not only by nature of who they're servicing, in our elderly population, but outreach and community service is very important for Givens as a company. And I've heard other companies say this, kind of have that same notion, but you could really tell it's true for Givens.
So you brought up Indeed. Let's talk a little bit about finding a job at Givens. Is that the best approach? Is just to look on Indeed? Is that where you guys post most of your openings, or are there other routes? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, most of our openings are posted on Indeed, so I think that'd be your best way to find us. We have a talent development team, so they're constantly looking and updating job postings, not just for food service, but for Givens communities as a whole, and they are very active in the community. So if you can't find it on Indeed, you feel free to reach out to Givens, whatever location's closer, just Givens communities in general. We are very responsive, and if you don't reach out to the right person, we'll make sure that you find somebody, because we're always looking for good team members, and to, like I said, reach out to the community.
Great. Well, this has been another great conversation. Thank you so much for being in here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again.